help that they need. And it was based off of Leslie's son, Kyle, was a veteran, was in, Afghanistan, I believe, Afghanistan or Iraq. I'm sorry, I don't know that for sure, but had come back, back into country, is having problems, was struggling, with, mental health was struggling, had gone, to see a doctor. It wasn't diagnosed properly. And, unfortunately, Kyle had gone, he'd gone to his hotel room that night, after he'd gone to the hospital the first day and ended his life, and Leslie's, brother is Kenny Mayne from ESPN, is an amazing person. I've met them and been a part of a bunch of their events. They do a great, it's called Race for a Soldier in Gig Harbor, Washington. I was part of the very first Race for a Soldier. I just ran it again last year. They do golf tournaments. They do all kinds of stuff to raise money to help people that are suffering from this disease, so that, to help people before that happens. We know the statistic. You shared a statistic with me when we were chatting yesterday about how many, veterans are ending their lives. And Leslie has put together this amazing foundation. And I would love to, I'm trying to connect those dots, because I'd love for her to come on your show and tell you more about what she does. But, you learn by listening. She's brought veterans to us, people who have dealt with this stuff, people who have, been at that brink where they were getting ready to just end their own lives because of what they were going through, because of what their struggles were. And the help, that Leslie and her people have been able to provide to so many, has, just put like, wind under my wings. Like, my God, I just, most people have no idea what these people are going through. And to know that my own dad was going through that, had those same feelings, and he had to fight his way out of it, and you just hope that he fought his way out of it totally, but you never know, and they didn't have the resources back then that they have today. And people like Leslie and people, and foundations like PTSD, Permission to Start Dreaming, have really provided such an amazing platform, for our heroes, people that have served our country, our first responders, people that are out there, in harm's way constantly. And you mentioned, these new veterans coming back, from this Iran deal, they're going to need help. And there's a lot more resources out there today than there was, but there's still not nearly enough. And so it's got to be something that we continue to talk about. It's got to be something that we continue to raise money for. And you can't find a better cause or a better, foundation than working with a foundation that helps people, like my dad, like my son, like Kyle, and all those people like that. So yeah, I'm glad I got to mention that. And I am going to share this with Leslie, and let her know that, we talked about her son, talked about her foundation, and hopefully I can connect you guys, because she is an absolute 10 out of a 10, just an amazing lady. So
it's so nice to hear that. Shout out to Leslie Mayne, big fan. Yeah, of Kenny Mayne. Kenny Mayne's a Seattle guy, right?
Yes, yeah, they're from Gig Harbor. They're from that area,
Yeah,
yeah.
He loved
Kenny Mayne. Yes.
There you go. He loved the Seahawks, man. Yeah. But shout out to Leslie. Where can we find her foundation and stuff? Because what we'll do, seriously, normally, Eric, what we do is simply post on screen.
Yeah.
Her foundation or whatever. But do fill us in there.
Permission to Start Dreaming, PTSD. And you go to that, you can find their page. And I'm not sure if it's a .com or .org. I apologize. In your, when you guys finish this up, I'll make sure that you have the right answer to that. But they've created this there's a couple of them now, but they've created these camps, essentially these getaways that these first responders and these veterans get to go to. And what they receive when they're there is they're completely off the grid. There's no phones, there's no anything like that. These people are getting help. They're being taught, how to deal with their, with the fears that are in their heads, how to express exactly how to fix the problem that is keeping them and holding them down, and how to be a great, to be able to operate in society in a way, where they feel good about, who they are and what they've been through. And I've heard firsthand stories from these veterans and these first responders of who they were when they went in and who they are when they came out, and the help that they got ever since. And it's just an